Hello, I'm here today to share with you what my typical workflow is when I start a class using Zoom. So first of all, I have multiple desktops set up. I have a laptop that I use in order to teach my classes, and I also have an extra monitor. So I have two monitors that I use. In addition to the two monitors, I have it set up so that I have two desktops. The main reason why I do that is I typically have one desktop set up primarily for handling my Zoom sessions. So usually before I start my class, I make sure that I have the following set up on the desktop for my Zoom session. I have the Zoom app running on that desktop. The other thing I have, if you'll notice, if I list all the tasks that are available, I have a folder set up for the class I'm teaching. So this is one of the classes I'm teaching so that I can quickly access the slides. So I make sure that the slides for the class and for the topic that I'm covering for today is set up. So I make sure that I start that in full screen mode and go to the page that I'm getting ready to cover. So let's see, I'm getting ready to cover that particular topic. The other thing I need to make sure is I also typically have a browser that's on the course that I'm teaching. We use Blackboard here at Chico State. So I make sure that the course I'm teaching, I'm on the Blackboard pages for that class, and I set that up on student preview so that I'm always broadcasting their perspective of how what they're going to see on our pages. So by default, I go to our weekly content folders because that's how I have things organized. And we are, let's say, going to be in week 7, which is where we are now. And that's where I have that page set up. I make sure that I have the tabs that I need on that browser focusing on that particular page. And then any other tabs that I have is also focusing on that one course. That way I don't get flustered. I don't have a lot of content on this particular desktop, just the slides, the folder for any documents I might need to access for the class, and the browser. So once I have that set up, then I can go to Zoom. Let's pretend that this is my class. So I'm going to start my class. So typically the way I start my class is I go to meetings, and I either click the class there or under home. If I just click join, the classes I've taught should be easily accessible from the drop down because I've taught those classes. So usually I'll just go there. So we'll pretend that we're starting a class and it's this class. So I'm starting the recording or starting the Zoom session. And once I've started the Zoom session, once the window comes up, by default I have it set to record to the cloud. But so typically there'll be a symbol here for recording to the cloud. So typically I will pause that. So you pause recording. Typically have my Zoom session use up the whole desktop, and then I'll start my audio, and I will also start my video. So I also typically open up the participant list so I can see people coming in the waiting room, because by default I've got the waiting room set on, and then I set the chat box to also show. I usually also connect with my tablet. I have a separate YouTube video that covers that. The main reason why I use my tablet in my classes is that it is so much easier to write on the whiteboard and to annotate anything I'm screen sharing using my tablet. And so during this time, as I'm setting up, I connect my tablet to the class, to the Zoom session for the class with audio and video off. I also typically rename myself on the tablet. Instead of my full name, I'll just put Ben's tablet so people know that I'm logged on twice. One is the tablet, so now that appears right here. One of them is my tablet and one of them is me. Typically my video will be showing at this point. So I test and make sure that I can flip back and forth quickly and easily to the browser content and quickly and easily to the slide content for the topic I'm going to cover. And then once I'm happy with that, the next thing I typically do is I type in any messages here. So for example, if it's the morning, I put good morning, and then I would type in reminders. So to make sure that's there. The other reason why I do that is typically before I even let students in. So remember, I've got my waiting room on, and so typically I will start screen share in all my Zoom recordings, and I always pick the screen where my Zoom app is running. The reason why I do that is once I start class, I leave this in gallery view. That way my recording starts with everyone in class, their video showing, and there's a record of who's in class by the time I start the session. Additionally, this chat box gets recorded, so it stays in the archive of that session. So they have a list of reminders that I point out during class. So once this is all set up, the next thing I do is I will shut off the play sound. So I typically shut that off, and then I'll shut off the waiting room. I'll shut that off. I typically do this about 10 minutes, 5 minutes before class starts. And then if there's anyone in the wait room, I let them in. So if there's anyone in the wait room, I admit them all. They come in, they see this. So again, they'll see who else is in class because this is being archived. And then the moment the time for class starts, I start the recording. So it's been paused, so I unpause it. So it starts recording and I greet them, good morning and all of that. And then we proceed with our class. So again, I always start off with my class in gallery view. So I'm always on screen share or share screen mode. I'm always on share screen mode. That way there's always a view of everyone in attendance. And then I switch tasks, whatever method is you're comfortable with in switching tasks. I usually just use Alt-Tab to cycle between tasks because they don't see the tasks showing. And then I can quickly switch between showing the browser. My tablet is connected, so I can always annotate on the browser whenever I want to using my tablet, right? Fairly easy since it's connected. And I can switch to the slides, and as I'm talking about the content in the slides, I can quickly mark them off, right? So that makes things easy. And then also I can go back, if we are just discussing, I go back to this view so I can talk to them. Once class is over, I make sure that before class is over, I am back in gallery view, and then I wish them well, say goodbye, good luck, and all that other stuff. And then I just end the class and end meeting for all, and then we are done. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.